Hello, friends, and welcome to the parched town of Avery.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Alexis.
And this is Board Game Latte. Today we're talking about Last Call at the Crowbar, which is a crime noir fashion incrimination game, accusation game.
Basically how this game works is you have a secret ally card. So that's going to be your character card that nobody knows about except for you. And depending on what colored card that is, basically what that character is going to do is take away any incrimination of that color. So let's just say
you have played on you.
Yeah, so let's just say if you had red, right, your character was a red color and everyone starts giving you red for some reason. Because it's also kind of like a bluffing game. So, you can kind of be like, oh, not red, oh no. And at the end of the game, you're just gonna play it, nothing's gonna matter. And with the higher incrimination number, so with the number 5s, they also unlock a special ability. And you have the card, so each card is numbered and each card is color coordinated. So it's 1 through 5 per color.
Different effects though.
Yeah, so each card has different effects, and then also some cards can be triggered if you have the other card as well. Sometimes it's a good benefit, sometimes it's not so good of a benefit.
They synergize depending on what you stack and So a really cool thing about this game is it's really a case of artist becomes
game
designer and aspires to be like a comic book.
Yeah. So we actually met with the creator of this game. His name is Matt. Really, really sweet. And it's kind of cool how he brought this game to life was actually through a dream that he had. So this bartender, Orville, actually came to him in a dream, and he's an artist, so the next day he actually spent all day kind of sketching it up. And with the creation of this game, he actually hand-inked every single card. And what's really cool is that we found out after we played the demo with him was that the colors of the cards make scenes with all the different characters together.
If you see these cards, they're tarot shaped and they're like elongated. Think of them as comic book strips. So when you put them together in sequence, it makes one scene or beautiful picture that he designed himself, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I really like that aspect, and kind of just going with that 1930s, 1920s kind of theme of just, it's old school, it's that old kind of crime noir where you're just trying to be least incriminating as possible and just trying to get the other person out. And you really don't know what's in the other player's hands, what their strategy is, what they're thinking. But I love how different each of the cards are and how they all have these different abilities and stuff like that. So it's not just plain and simple like, oh, I have a 5 that's higher than the 3, then that means you get that, because it could be, oh yeah, I have this 5, but this ability grants me these are all gone, or you can start removing incrimination from yourself.
Yeah. Another great thing about this game is that it accommodates a higher player count. So it's 2 to 6 players. We played it at 4 players.
Yeah.
And it went by pretty fast, but potentially 30 to 45 minutes, give or take. There's a little bit of randomness to how the end of the game triggers. It's how many Orvilles get drawn from the deck.
You have to roll the dice and you have to beat it.
Well, how many Orvilles are there
6.
in the deck? There's 6 Orvilles?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 6 Orvilles in a deck of 60 cards. Depending on how many Orvilles are out on the table, and also your luck with die rolls, the game could end pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because if there are 2 Orvilles out on the table, there's still a chance that the game ends. Which we didn't experience. I think we got to actually 4 or 5 Orvilles. So it went on pretty long, which means a lot of people had a lot of incrimination.
Yeah, but I also remember he told us the game he demoed right before that, the game pretty much ended as soon as it started.
Yeah.
It was Orville, I think it was like 2 Orville cards like got played almost immediately, and then they rolled a 1, so it was kind of like game over.
Yeah, some people might not be a fan of that, but
I
with how
like
easy it is to set up, it's just like you stack the deck again and go again. So it makes for really fast pace, and I think that's a good thing about this game.
Yeah, and something that's in this game, we didn't play it during our demo version with Matt, but they do have a golden egg card. And basically what that golden egg card is, you want to get as much incrimination as possible. If you get 20 incrimination, then you win the game.
It adds another dynamic to the game where you might not want to stack a single person with too much incrimination.
Yeah, in case they have that golden egg card, because then they'll just automatically win.
I think it's a really unique card game because I can't say I've played too many games where you're like accusing each other and through like the card play.
Yeah.
A lot of the other games are like social deduction where you're bantering.
Yeah, like Clue or something where it's kind of like you have to find the object and stuff like that. Yeah, Secret Hitler, or even if you want to say video games like Among Us. And stuff like that. This is kind of a unique aspect that I've never personally played before ever in a card game, and I really do enjoy it. And I like how there's also like he has little extras that he made. So for example, this he actually made himself, and this is kind of like a player tracker. It's supposed to look like an egg. And yeah, he made like these little coasters.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
This is the little logo for the box. So it's the last call at the crowbar, like the outside. So of course I had to get 2 of them for our cups. And it's honestly a really fun game to play. It's definitely unique. I absolutely love the artwork in this game. For me, I'm always a fan of good artwork for games. It kind of like what draws my attention immediately to it. And I really do like how it's kind of like black and white, except when you actually look at the cards, they are kind of colored, but they have still like that black and white feel because the only colored part of the cards is just like the background. And I do like how there's also like a dice in here, so you don't have to just randomly grab a dice. It's in this box too, which honestly I wasn't expecting until I opened it, and I was like, oh, cool, that's in here too. Great, I don't have to worry about getting any extra materials or anything, and it is really small. So it's a perfect travel game.
Yeah, and if you're interested in like the town of Avery or the lore, if you will, of the game, I believe he's actually trying to come out with a comic book. So I look forward to that. It seems really cool. I really like the artwork. There's a lot of puns like throughout the game, maybe the names of the different crows, and also just in the rule book, like let's lay a game instead of play, just stuff like that, and it makes for a really nice touch to the game. And I liked how, so we met him at a convention as well. MegaCon, right?
Yeah, we met him at MegaCon, and this was our first time actually inside the board game library that they had. And he approached us, so we were just kind of looking through the different games that they had, and he came up to us and was like, hey, you know, if you're interested in playing a game, here's a game that I made that we're demoing. And it was just a lot of fun, and then we found out he also had a booth there, so then I actually went up to his booth and we got some clips and everything of all the different artwork. He actually has like the original sketches and everything in this sketchbook, which I found really, really cool. And we do just have like a few words that he said about how he created the game and how he started making everything in that whole process.
Cool. So this is Last Call at the Crowbar. It is the crime noir game of avian incrimination, and it's a card-based tabletop game that I made. Originally, it actually came to me in a dream, so I guess you might call it a nightmare. So it was about 3 years ago, and I had this like vivid dream where I was actually in the town of Avery. Like I had the name of Avery, I was in the Crowbar. Orville the ostrich, this guy, was here, like looking over me in the dream. And I woke up and I was like, "What did I just see?" Like, and so I immediately went and started sketching in my sketchbooks. So it was like a year or so of just developing the world, kind of getting excited about this like weird town full of birds. I kind of was like, okay, I'm going to write out some ideas and then I'll wait on it and look at those later. And in the meantime, I was like, okay, what can I do? I have a game meetup that I go with friends to, and they like to play games, so I'll do a quick mock-up, a prototype. Yeah. Then this was like kind of one of my prototype boxes that I went through, but here's the actual first prototype. So what I did is I just took some scrap paper, some highlighters that I had on hand, and some Post-it notes, and then just started like this. You can barely see. Like, look at that chicken scratch, right? Like you can barely tell what that is. But what I did is I brought it to my friends, played it a little bit, and when it started working, I whittled it down from there and then did the final art. Yeah, if you have an idea, doesn't matter what it looks like at first, just make it real and then go from there. That's what I would suggest if you have an idea in your head.
Yeah, it was just a really fun experience, and this is definitely a different type of game that I personally haven't played before that I really did enjoy.
Yeah, definitely consider getting it if you're into that crime noir, like solving, what would you call it? Like crime solving game.
Yeah.
Bluffing, somewhat social deduction, but more through the card play rather than talking back and forth, which for me, honestly, those aren't for groups of big board gamers. That's usually when it turns into more of a laid back get-together night. Board game night or day. So I probably wouldn't take it to one of those types of nights where you just where it gets too loud for board games.
Yeah.
I like that about it. So
it's definitely more of a, I would say, relaxed type of environment too.
Relaxed. Even though it is 2 to 6 players, which is awesome because you could get it to larger game groups.
Yeah, definitely 4 players was, it was a really perfect amount, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't played it with more yet, but I do enjoy kind of all the different aspects of this game, and it is relatively easy to teach.
Yeah.
Just because all the different abilities are on the cards as well. So if you ever have any questions about the card, just kind of read the bottom abilities and stuff like that. And they do have kind of different examples in the rule book of the cards, which I do enjoy a lot also, just in case you do have any questions or anything like that. And you can get this online on his website. I believe it's $25 for the game. So it's relatively cheap and really fun to play.
Yep, shout out to Matt. It's very unique and handcrafted, really. So all the components. I would definitely check this game out.
Let us know in the comments down below what your favorite crime noir game is.
And what you want to see from us next.
As always,
thanks for watching.